Hello and welcome to another episode of Psych Wisdom. Today we will be discussing how to have a good night's sleep. No more staring at the ceiling, wondering if you'll ever fall asleep, or waking up thinking it's time to get up, but it's actually 2 a.m. and then struggling to get back to sleep. Time to learn about your sleep hygiene and how your own poor sleep habits may be preventing you from getting the quality sleep you need. Better sleep can definitely improve both your mental and physical health dramatically. Scientists have proven that certain habits like keeping a consistent schedule and cutting down blue light exposure and a good bedtime routine can improve your sleep hygiene and promote quality sleep. So let's start. So, what is sleep hygiene? Well, sleep hygiene simply refers to healthy habits that help in getting a good night's sleep. It's not just about what you do right before going to sleep. Our daytime behaviors can also affect how well we sleep at night. This can include things like our morning wake-up time, our morning routine, the food and drink choices we make throughout the day, and our evening activities. Let's, look at the ways to improve our sleep hygiene for better sleep. First, keep a consistent sleep schedule. Make it a habit to go to sleep and wake up at about the same times every day, even on weekends. Honestly, this one habit alone makes it so much easier for our body's sleep cycle, or our internal clock, to fall asleep and wake up every day at about the same times. If we follow this religiously, with practice, we tend to wake up and feel sleepy around our scheduled times even without any alarms. Try it, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The daytime sleepiness that many of us suffer from will also, vanish. Just make sure you pick a schedule that allows you to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. And, if possible, the wake-up time may be preferably scheduled as near as sunrise as practicable. Second, a relaxing bedtime routine is, essential. A bedtime routine signals our minds and bodies that it's time for sleep and helps you fall asleep quickly. Start your bedtime routine about 30 minutes before you go to bed. It can include doing things that make you feel relaxed, but there is really no room for any device that emits blue light. Here are some ideas. A warm shower. The water relaxes our body immediately, and it also causes a drop in the temperature of our body afterwards, which in turn tends to keep our bodies relaxed for enough time for us to fall asleep. You can also try a few gentle stretches while lying on the bed, along with a few deep breaths. This helps our muscles relax and release tension. A few minutes of listening to some soothing music while you do deep breathing lying on the bed definitely helps, and instrumental or classical music of your choice gives the best results. If you like reading a book before sleep, you can do it, but preferably on a chair or couch and not on the bed itself. Please avoid electronic reading devices that emit blue light at any cost. And finally, avoid any stimulating and emotional conversations or work-related talk during your bedtime routine. So, number 3, turn off electronic devices before you go to sleep. Electronic screens, including your phone, emit blue light, which tends to reduce melatonin levels in your body. It's actually quite similar to how sunlight makes you feel more awake in the mornings by reducing melatonin levels. Melatonin is a biochemical found in our brain tissues, and it controls our sleep and wake cycle. When those levels dip, it's really difficult to fall asleep. Also, these devices keep our brain alert, making it harder to settle down for the night. And keeping your phone near your bed can disrupt your sleep because of constant message notifications, buzzing, and that sudden light that pops up. Setting your electronic devices to go into night mode after sunset can also help reduce blue light exposure. Number 4, sleep environment is important. A bedroom temperature between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius is actually the optimal temperature for sleeping. You should make sure you have a comfortable mattress, pillows, and sheets. The more comfortable we are, the easier it is to fall asleep and, have a good sleep. If you're a light sleeper or you have a noisy neighborhood, a good pair of earplugs or just listening to instrumental or classical music may help. And you might want to consider using blackout curtains or an eye mask to keep your bedroom as dark as possible. Number 5. Exercise regularly. A minimum of 30 minutes of aerobic exercise per day can improve your sleep quality and overall health. Exercising outside is preferable because it increases the benefits even more, as exposure to natural light helps regulate your sleep cycle. However, even if you cannot exercise outside, don't miss your indoor exercises. It should be noted that exercising within an hour or two of your bedtime can increase your alertness levels and body temperature, which makes it harder to fall asleep. Doing gentle stretches or yoga is all right. Limit your caffeine intake. Although everyone has a different tolerance to caffeine, the effects of caffeine can actually last up to 7 hours. That means an afternoon cup of coffee may keep you awake and alert a lot longer than your bedtime. So, you might need to cut off your caffeine much earlier in order to fall asleep easily. Bed is only for sleep. Having a comfortable bed is tempting enough to use it for reading, working, talking on the phone, watching TV, and, numerous other activities. However, it's really important to avoid using your bed for anything except sleep. This helps condition our brain towards the association between our bed and our sleep, making it easier to fall asleep. Reading on the bed might seem like a good way to relax before going to sleep, but it's better to read on the couch before moving to your bed instead. Head to bed only when tired. Try to avoid lying in bed while you are alert and not feeling sleepy. Instead, head to bed only when you are feeling tired and very sleepy. If you don't fall asleep within 15 minutes of going to bed and are just tossing and turning, it's best to leave the bed. Not being able to fall asleep in your bed may cause stress and can, in turn, keep you awake even longer. Once you get out of bed, do something relaxing, like reading a book or listening to instrumental or classical music on the couch, or even light stretching, until you're tired and sleepy enough to go back to bed. So, it's important to limit or even avoid sleeping in the afternoon. Sleeping during the afternoons can actually make it harder to fall asleep or stay asleep at night. However, if you really need to nap, try to keep it to 45 minutes or less, and definitely avoid napping later in the evening time. So, one really helpful way to manage things you worry about at bedtime is to address them before they disrupt your sleep. Thinking or talking about your worries can actually keep you awake at night. To help prevent this, writing down your worries well before going to bed really helps get them out of your head. And, you can also try writing down your to-do list for the next day as well. Meditation and relaxation breathing before heading to bed can really calm our worrisome thoughts and honestly help us sleep better. It's important to avoid large fatty meals before bed. Eating a large meal, especially those difficult to digest fatty foods, just before bed may negatively affect sleep quality. It can also cause symptoms of acid reflux and raise glucose levels in the blood, keeping you alert and awake. Also, try to avoid alcohol and nicotine, especially before bed, as they tend to worsen sleep quality. Managing our light exposure is another key factor. Our time under natural light helps our brains manage our circadian rhythm. Sunlight exposure, especially in the mornings, and limiting artificial light exposure after sunset, helps our brain regulate melatonin secretion and benefits sleep. To achieve this, we can try to get exposure to natural light during the day as much as possible. Use warm light spectrum light bulbs in the rooms during daytime, turn off extra lights in the hours before bed, and dim lights a few hours before bed. To conclude, these were some time-tested and well-researched tips to achieve a good night's sleep. However, if you continue to have issues with your sleep, don't hold back from seeing your doctor, as it is then important to determine whether an underlying brain condition is causing your sleep problems, and medical treatment may be needed.